Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is Tuesday. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Fly Nubian Money. We got so much to talk to you about today. Listen, this is where we help you master your mindset and maximize your shmoney. You know, every single day, 5 days a week. I'm your host today, Constance Carter, and you know nobody works harder. Today, we're going to discuss a topic that's making waves across the headlines and sparking serious debate. Hip hop mogul Jay-Z, well, you know, we got the same last name, no relation, Mr. Sean Carter. I'm Constance Carter, is facing explosive allegations of sexual assault involving a victim who was just 13. But it doesn't stop there. Jay-Z has fired back, y'all. He claims that this is nothing more than a blackmail attempt by the lawyer representing the alleged victim. And he's demanding a criminal suit be filed and asking for transparency, including the alleged victim coming forward publicly. So today, y'all, we are going to unpack the drama. We knew this was a matter of time. Everybody was asking about Jay-Z. What's going on with Jay-Z? What's going to happen to Jay-Z? What's up with Jay-Z? We're going to explore the bigger picture. What do these allegations really mean for Jay-Z's legacy, his children, his family, Beyonce, and the culture of hip-hop as a whole? Is this just another high-profile scandal, or does it reveal a deeper issues in an industry grappling with misogyny, with exploitation, and unchecked power? So listen, we got an amazing panel for y'all today. My girl, listen, I ain't seen y'all in a minute. I've been out. I've been moving. As y'all see, my background's a little different. So I have not been here, but I'm so happy to be here. Dr. Alicia, what you doing, girl? How you doing today? So Dr. Alicia is a therapist. She is a therapist and therapist. Yes.
I just want to say I am a social worker and a victim's advocate. That's what I am today. Thank you.
Dr. Joe, you gonna really sip your coffee and slurp it while we in the middle of this, for real?
It's tea, but thank you.
He said, we heard it all, brother. And then we have Dr. Joe. My God. We got to get it together. Who is a therapist. Dr. Joe, what's happening? Thank you for muting yourself this time. And then we have brilliance coach, Dr. Lene. What's up, lady? What's up, shouty? Oh, I love you.
I miss you. I miss having you here. I'm glad you're here today.
Thank you. And I'm loving you in that. See, you know what? You be making me want to step my game up, boo. You be looking good. I love it. And then we have Miss Athena, all things pop culture. She is the We Wealth Warrior. What's up, y'all? How y'all been? What's been going on? What's been cracking? What have I missed since I've been gone? Y'all been keeping it together?
Yeah, barely. I'm just kidding. Barely. Yeah.
Listen, y'all, have you guys heard about the allegations with Jay-Z? What was your initial thought before we get into, some of the media? What was your initial thought, Dr. Alicia? Because look, you already shaking your head. What was your initial thought when you saw this? Did you think it was going to happen? Did you already have it in mind that this was something that was coming down the pipe? What was your first thoughts?
Let me tell you, my whole entire reality is shattered. It was already shattered with Sean Combs, this whole allegation with him. It is getting shattered. And from what I'm hearing, there's a lot more people who we look up to in a lot of different ways who are going to fall. So this is just two of many.
If it's true, right?
If it's true.
Right. Yeah, today's going to be one of those allegedly conversations. Allegedly.
Yeah, this is all
allegedly around it.
Jay-Z, he's not just a businessman. He's a business man. Lene, Dr. Lene, what are your thoughts? What was your initial thought when you heard about this?
Honestly, initially I thought, okay, here we go. That was my initial thought. Here we go. Then it was what we already talked about, like, where did they find a 13-year-old girl at? What was she doing at the party in the club? Some of this stuff sounds crazy when you hear it. Like, first of all, what is a 13-year-old girl doing at a Diddy party in the wee hours of the morning? That's the first thing. But then my mind goes to, okay, they're talking about Hollywood. They're doing these sacrifices. Somebody brought, like, it's just crazy. All of it is crazy.
Mm-hmm. So you thought, what was she really doing there? Why is she there? Joe, what were you thinking when you first heard about it?
I moved it around. It's like a wait and see type of situation. And I dismissed it immediately and wait till more information comes out. because only two people really know what happened in this situation for real, and you got to wait and see what comes out.
Yeah.
Even what Joe said, even when he said, wait and see. We haven't closed the clip yet, but if you're not cognitive, if you on drugs, if you whatever the case might be, how do you even know what happens? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting sidetracked.
Ooh, we're gonna get into it, sis. What about you, Mr. Okay, I know Athena didn't went down the rabbit hole. She didn't research it. She probably got some information that we all don't have yet. What do you think, sis?
Well, I'm gonna keep it quick because this is an intro. But when I saw it, I was a little shocked, but I wasn't surprised, right? It was more like I was waiting to see what happened, because I know that Jay-Z and Diddy were close friends. They were always at each other's parties. When Diddy got swept up, or those allegations with Cassie was going around, he stopped inviting him and started to disassociate himself quickly. And there's other things that Jay-Z was doing in preparation for this. I don't think that him or Beyonce is surprised that these allegations came out. I think they were actually preparing for it.
I don't know, y'all. That lawyer seems real shady. Seems like an ambulance chaser. I just don't believe it.
He says it was a personal injury lawyer. He's not even a criminal.
Right. So I'm like, and then we gonna talk about it. But for me, I was just like, I don't. Now, do I think Jay-Z is innocent? Absolutely not. I think he's been caught up in some things. I just don't really think this particular thing is actually true. And that's just my first thought on this. Audience, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts? What was your first thought when you heard about it? Did you guys already think that this was getting ready to happen? Because if you ever watched it, have you guys ever heard of the psychic Sloan Bella? Sloan Bella? Ooh, Dr. Alicia, do you watch Sloan Bella?
Yes, I do. One of you guys put me on to her recently, and I've been watching her. She's been saying this, and it's funny because we will get into it, but his letter response was psychics. He put psychics in there, which is really interesting because Jay-Z comes across as somebody who is not going to engage in social media. Like, you never hear from him ever. And then now he's got something to say. But I'll let you go. Yeah.
So Sloan Bella is a psychic, and she's been talking about this before this all went down. And even with Diddy, she talked about what was going to happen with Diddy, what's been going on with Kim Porter, how Kim Porter was really murdered by Diddy, like all of this stuff. If you go to her YouTube page, it's all on there. And I've been following it for a minute. She said actually something was going to happen with Jay-Z in November. She was a little off. It started in December, but she did kind of predict that something was getting ready to happen. So I don't know. I don't know if this might be it. It may or may not be. But I do want to roll the footage. The first video that kind of came out with this. Let's talk about it a little bit.
This morning, disturbing new claims against music icon Jay-Z. A civil lawsuit detailing sexual assault, originally brought against his longtime friend Sean Diddy Combs, now adding new allegations against the rapper whose real name is Sean Carter. Claims both men deny. The anonymous woman, who was 13 at the time, described in the lawsuit as being drugged and raped at an MTV VMAs after party she says Combs hosted in 2000. According to the suit, she recalls accepting a drink from a waitress that made her feel woozy and lightheaded before she says she was raped by Jay-Z and then Combs in a bedroom as an unnamed female celebrity watched. Jay-Z swiftly issuing a statement Sunday calling the claims heinous and accusing the woman's attorney of trying to blackmail him, suggesting the attorney had tried to seek a settlement first, adding, quote, "I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. My heart and support goes out to the true victims in the world." The billionaire, who is married to megastar Beyonce, saying he is heartbroken. The couple will have to explain the, quote, cruelty and greed of people to their children. Combs, too, has denied any allegations of sexual assault. Earlier this fall, the plaintiff's attorney, Tony Busby, a personal injury lawyer in Texas, held a press conference after Combs was indicted on federal sex trafficking charges, suggesting more fallout would follow.
I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed.
Combs pleaded not guilty to the charges and continues to deny the allegations Busby has made against him in a string of civil lawsuits, which Combs' attorneys have dismissed as shameless publicity stunts. But this marks the first suit publicly naming another high-profile celebrity.
Now, in a statement posted online, Busby, the lawyer, acknowledged sending Jay-Z a letter prior to filing this complaint, prior to this whole thing, seeking a confidential mediation, but says his client never demanded a penny from Jay-Z. At the time, she is now seeking an unspecified amount in damages, guys.
All right, Laura.
I don't know. This seems like a fucking ambulance chaser to me. I just don't, I cannot. This dude looks shady to me, in my opinion. But first of all, I want to know. I know none of us here have been to Diddy parties, but what the fuck was a 13-year-old doing at a Diddy party in the first place, Dr. Lene? What the hell?
let's start there. Like, so I have to speak really honestly. Okay. So I apologize if this offends somebody, but this is my truth. I grew up in an era and a time where promiscuity was not shameful, let's say that, right? So when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, 14, 15, 16, I'm dealing with 25-year-old dudes. And that's not a plug. Y'all know I have low self-esteem. I was in a bad way. So when I talk about these things, I talk about these things from that perspective. When you are 14, 15, 16, and you are at these parties, you know what you are doing. When I was 14, kicking it with these 18, 19, 20-year-old men, I knew what I was doing. Now, I'm not saying that they weren't wrong. As an adult now, I know that those men were wrong. And I know that they should have identified that I was a young girl and said, nah, I'm good. I do know that. But what I'm speaking on is the mindset of a young woman that puts herself in those positions. You are not oblivious. Now, I say all that to say she should not have been there. But I think a lot of times when we're having these types of conversations, we are looking at the man as he is the sole person who has responsibility. And as the adult, he does. I'm not saying that he does not and he should not. But you're in these environments. When you are aware and you take yourself into these environments and then you claim something was done wrong to me, I'm going to say 60% is on the person. 60% is on the adult who knew what they were doing. But you also should know. And so I don't know. I these types of situations always pull at me. I'm in a conflict with these types of situations because I know as a grown-up, you're supposed to know right and wrong. You're supposed to protect the person. You're supposed to make the right choices and decisions. But I also know, being a young person who had a messed up frame of mind, I was aware of the things and the choices that I was making and the things that I was doing.
Dr. Joe, what the fuck was a 13-year-old doing? How did she get into a Diddy party? If this is actually true. Now, I saw R. Kelly peeing on a 14-year-old girl. I saw it with my own two eyes. But if she was 13 at the time, perhaps they didn't know she was 13. So what could you say? Like, what do you think about that? The idea that this 13-year-old was out here partying with these grown ass men.
Well, I haven't looked over the actual allegations and whatever they're trying to charge him with. I don't want to say charge because it's not a criminal case; it's a civil suit. But regardless if she was 13 or not, I mean, we all know she shouldn't have been at that party. But I think what she's claiming is that she was sexually assaulted at this party, right? By force. So, I mean, yes, she shouldn't be there, but her age wouldn't have anything to do with that. And just from that perspective, but yeah, she does. Somebody has some accountability across the board for her being there in the first place. She should not be in that situation. She shouldn't be there. Who let her out the house? Who let her in the house? But I would assume for her being there, like, yeah, there should be a reasonable assumption that she's an adult if she's at this party. Unless she's going around telling everybody she's 13, in which case you should get her. You should get her up out of there.
Doing that.
Yeah, but that's just me talking without having seen the girl,
Sure.
Seeing what she looked like at 13, knowing what the actual allegations are. Regardless of how old she is, if she was sexually assaulted by force, it shouldn't matter.
Of course, yeah. Man, now I seen that underdeveloped girl on R. Kelly's video. She had the body of a 14-year-old. But when I was in elementary school, I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember when somebody had found a needle in the Coke can? Do you guys remember that? When they found a needle and then they started finding needles in Coke cans all over the country. And then now in Wisconsin we found a needle in a Coke can. Now in Mississippi we found a needle in a Coke can, and everybody had found needles in Coke cans because everybody was looking for the payday. And come to find out, the first person who said they found a needle in the Coke can, they lied. And it just spread like wildfire, and everybody started making these allegations because they thought that they were going to get paid. Athena, do you think this might be that type of case where, it's payday? Let me go ahead and, I seen him get, do Cassie. I seen how easy it was. Do you think this is maybe an attempt for a payday?
I think yes. But I also think both things
I'm
can be
loving that
true.
mic, girl. I can hear you loud and clear and strong.
Can
Girl.
you listen? I'm bringing it to the center. I think both things can be true. I think you can look for a payday because Cassie's a victim and she got paid. Mm-hmm. So I think it doesn't, I don't think that you can be a victim and still want a payout or still want restitution. What I love is, and shout out to attorney Simone Redwine and her YouTube channel, because every time these cases come, she goes right over there and pull the legal files and walks through them. And I actually watched that entire video and her legal analysis. And I do think this girl has a case. For her to provide that amount of detail around what happened. I mean, I don't think, women are that smart to create that out of thin air. How did she end up there? She was actually in New York or LA, wherever the VMAs was at. And the driver, one of Diddy's drivers, saw her, picked her up and took her there. So that's how she ended up over there. She was just trying to get into the VMAs for free or whatever, or join that party. What is also interesting, and I know a lot of people have said a lot of criticism about why file as a civil case versus a criminal case. Well, similar to what happened to in the Cassie situation, and what attorney Simone Redwine tells us as an attorney herself, oftentimes people file as civil cases first to eventually open up the grounds for a criminal case. So there's a lot of things. I'm not saying that she could not be coming for Jay-Z and Beyonce. I'm a Beyonce fan, but this is something that has been in the works for a while that they have known about. And I think also because I was like, why is Beyonce dropped a Carter album and no tour? I think this is something that has been cooking for a while, and they have laid low on purpose because they knew this was coming once Diddy got picked up.
Mm-hmm. And just like Nate Dogg said, she better lay low. You know what? You know what's funny? As I'm looking at Dr. Alicia, your emotions are all over your face. I'm looking at you do this. I am so curious to hear your thoughts.
Sexual assault is a heinous crime. It is very, very heinous. And, because this is my field and I work with a lot of survivors of sexual assault, and I know that most people never, ever come forward. And it's because of some statements that blame the victim. And coming forward is just ultra difficult to do. You are afraid of being blamed. You're afraid of being judged. You're afraid of bringing down somebody who's extremely powerful, people who everybody looks up to. I mean, that said something like, what can I do against this very powerful person? I think the criminal justice, I'm just floored by the criminal justice system and how they treat people who actually do come forward. Rarely do people come forward. Sexual assault is the most underreported crime in America. It is underreported because people internalize it and blame themselves so much. And oh my goodness, it really, it's not even just the act of sexual assault, right? It is what it does to your soul, what it does to someone. The fact that she could detail everything that happened back in 2000 tells me that is a traumatic imprint on her head. She has had to live with this and being too afraid to come forward. And there's going to be other people coming forward because there's a third person. And I was looking while the video was going, and I said, who was Sean Diddy Combs dating back in 2000? Was it Jennifer Lopez? Is she the lady in the room watching? And what happened is that he did not extort Jay-Z. He was coming to Jay-Z saying, listen, this person has mounts of evidence that you were there and this is a crime and you were part of it. Would you like to settle and keep your name silent? And he said, no, I don't want to settle. And I don't want to do it this way. I'm going to fight it. And so that's why they released his name. And so I suspect they're doing the exact same thing with, I think, this is speculation, that it was probably Jennifer Lopez in the room, but we don't know, okay? Everybody's deleting all the messages on their phone for a reason, right? So I got more to say about that, but I just want to talk about victims. 1/3 of women are sexually assaulted. One in every 6 men are sexually assaulted. I had to write this down, right? 23% of those ever report what happened to them. So that is 75% of people who are sexually assaulted, never ever report, never ever come forward. Only 5% of the 23% leads to arrest. Less than 1% ever leads to conviction. So it is courageous for anybody to be able to come forward. And it is, if a law firm is going to take this up, they've done some investigation. There has to be some sort of evidence. If there's video evidence, which is what we're hearing, then maybe that's the information that they're giving to the people who are being blamed for this. So I don't know. I think that time will tell if it ever happens, but we need to keep this in mind that when someone comes forward with this, they need to be met with empathy and respect.
So on a nut, but I don't know, because I think there are lots of liars out there who mess it up for true victims. Not saying that this young lady is a liar, but you do have that. You do have people, even like with Bill Cosby, right? I do believe back when they were doing preludes, what were those? Listen, what's Studio 54, right? Studio 54. I remember when I looked up Quaaludes, I Googled Quaaludes, and it said Quaaludes were drugs that were used commonly at Studio 54, right? So this is what they did. This was part of that culture. Now, do I think he slipped some Quaaludes in people's drinks? Absolutely. Do I think all them stupid ass bitches was raped by Bill Cosby? Absolutely not. And so what it does is the true victims lose credibility because you have people who are just coming out for the money grab. Now, I don't know. This lawyer just kind of puts me in the mind frame of a slimy lawyer. And that's just kind of how I look. That's just my initial thought. Of course, I didn't read any of the legal documentation, but I don't know. I can't sink my teeth in it. Now, I have been a victim of sexual assault, like a date rape type situation, and I never reported it. I've been in that situation, so I understand the gravity of it. And so I'm not quick to call a woman a liar. However, I do believe that there are people who are lying and there are people who tell the truth. And I just think a lot of times that, people mess it up for true victims. But we'll talk more about it when we come back from commercial.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens. That's Queens. That's Queens to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes? If you want.
All right, so listen, we got to pay the bills. Let's go ahead and run that next commercial. The commercial.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at FlyNubianMoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. FlyNubianMoney.com.
So I know that we have. Oh yeah. Let's do it. Come, Dr. Joe, you gotta do it too. Come on.
That makes my whole day when I'm on here and Joe is here with the jazz hands. I'm telling you.
You are so terrible at this, Dr. Joe. You are so terrible at this. So this is so interesting, and a lot of people have a whole lot to say. I do want to go to the comments real quick. G-Man said these attorneys are searching for anyone. And for anyone that ever went to a high profile hip hop party. That's interesting. And then Goodfellas Ritz said, like the lady who said she was in the pic on Diddy's lap until the real lady came out and she was a whole different race the other day. I don't know nothing about that. So, because it's a big payday. It's a lot of controversy. It's a lot people have a lot to gain. You know, it really hurts people who are true victims. I do believe that Diddy is a predator. I believe that R. Kelly is a predator, but I also believe that some of these grown ass parents was sending their kids over to
That part.
to R. Kelly's, to the den, to get sexually assaulted. So, you know, what happens in those types of situations when, you know, the parents are using their children as leverage for sexual assault? People have done it for long.
And I just want to point that R. Kelly and Sean Combs are friends of Jay-Z. Jay-Z's been on their album.
Jay-Z back to
Jay-Z and R. Kelly have an album together.
Yeah, but they fell out.
They fell out, but Sean Combs
due to the Aaliyah situation.
Yeah.
Jay-Z was on Sean Combs' last album. Helped him write whatever that I don't know. I don't listen to hip hop very much, but he was on their album. So these are people, and even Harvey Weinstein, Jay-Z has been connected with Harvey Weinstein, did some work with him too. So, I mean,
Oprah. I mean, you know, so
Yeah.
you start naming people that you can't be guilty by association, though, Doc.
Yeah, you can't be guilty by association.
But the thing is that they were friends. They were all partying together.
And
it's interesting because
we don't have the same ideals and beliefs that they have just because we have the same party together.
But what I watched the entire press conference of BuzzFeed to this morning. What's his name? Buzz something, the lawyer, and he said that anybody who was in the room, anybody who knew about it, anybody who was there. He said complicit bystanders are also going to be part of it. Those who facilitated, those who played a role in these lots of sexual assault instances, those who profited. He also said that he was coming after the businesses, the banks, the venues, and the pharmaceutical companies that were part of this whole thing. So it's a bigger thing. It's like a RICO case. It's a bigger thing than just this little thing. And by the way, I have not said it yet, but I'm going to say it now. I have always had a problem with hip hop culture. I have always had a problem with the promotion of denigrating women, Black women. I have always had a problem with the lyrics, the visuals, everything. I have been talking about this for a decade. When I started realizing this is not healthy for us.
But listen,
it's an attack.
I'm
sorry.
Dr. People though, these are two different things. Just because people talk about the music in a certain kind of way and they represent music in a certain kind of way. I'm not a hip hop person either. I love R&B, but representation in music does not mean that a person is now a sexual predator. I do think that personality characteristics and how you show up do dictate some predatory behavior. I see narcissism in Diddy, always in the video with the dance and doing all the things. I see it in R. Kelly with the lack of education and gifted. With Jay-Z, I don't see the same thing. I see in him a person of power, but he kind of operates from a bougie Negro perspective of, I don't want to be associated with that. Do I think he was at the parties? Yeah. Do I think you have to associate with people to a certain degree? But if you ever notice when those two are in the room, they get a picture and then they go their separate ways. And it's been that way for a long time. Again, I'm not saying that Jay-Z didn't do it. I'm just saying you can't do a crabs in a barrel. If you're there, you're guilty by association. If you were at the party, you had knowledge. That's ridiculous. Right. I've had a lot of places this stuff is going on and I don't have no knowledge of what's happening just because I'm there.
Yeah.
Have you listened to Jay-Z's lyrics?
Hold on.
He has talked about drug use.
Yeah, but hold on.
And glorified drug use in his lyrics.
Actually, his music has evolved over the years. If you
know, it has evolved. So his past is coming up. His past is now coming back.
But you got to think about this, Dr. Alicia, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I do believe hip hop is detrimental to the Black community. I'm 100% with you, but it does not mean that these people specifically it doesn't make them guilty. When you think about Hollywood in general, you have sexual predators all over Hollywood, and it doesn't just stop with hip hop. And then you think about this because they are just small ponds. Even Jay-Z and Diddy, they're big in our eyes, but they are the little fish. There are people that are really, really in control, that are really, really pulling the strings. I think that they are just players on the board. You know, Black people, we're not in control. Just like Tank said, our love isn't, our violence isn't isn't what they hate. It's our love. So they only promote the things that are negative. They only promote our animosity. They only promote the things that are going to destroy our community. It's much bigger than Diddy and Jay-Z. There are sexual predators all throughout Hollywood. But I do believe that there's a responsibility, and my prayer is that mindsets will start to shift, and we'll start to see changes. But I want to look at the next video, and I want to discuss that, because we got a lot to unpack, y'all. And it's a lot of people, and it's a lot of comments, and we want to get to all your comments. And we always love for you to talk back to us and talk black to us. So we love the comments. Keep them going, but we want to continue the dialogue. So go ahead and show that next video.
I hate to act like Soulja Boy and pretend I'm the first one to talk about this, because I'm not. However, the things that's coming out about Jay-Z is kind of stuff that I've already said on this page before. Previously, in one of the videos that I made about Jay-Z, I was saying that he was allegedly a weirdo because, to my understanding, he got with Beyonce at around 16, 17. He was in his 30s. That's what I truly believe, because that's what the timeline add up to. But everybody was arguing in my comment section saying, oh, she was 18, she was 18, she was 18, as if that makes it any weirder. He was in his 30s, she was 18. That's gross. But let's also get into when I talked about how he took Foxy Brown's V-car when she was 14. He was like, what, 23, 24 at the time? What do you have to say about that? Allegedly. Also, what do you have to say about people extremely close to Jay-Z saying that he had huge feelings for Aaliyah when Aaliyah was underage? And lastly, well, Rihanna came out multiple times and said what Jay-Z did to her, saying that there's only two ways out of this hotel room. It's either through this window, and we're on the, like, what, 12th floor or 20th floor or something like that, or through the door, but you have to do something to get through the door. Last but not least, y'all love to act like Diddy and Jay-Z weren't really good friends, as in friends, close friends for decades now. The only reason why they're not visibly out talking or out.
You know, that's
a horrible clip, because that was a lie. She lied.
About what?
She just quoted the Jay-Z Rihanna story about being in the hotel room. That's bogus. He and her has talked about that. It was the record deal. He said there's only two ways out of here, and one of them was the hotel room. It wasn't over the. But she's thinking about the 5 heartbeats. That didn't happen. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and they were trying to get her signed. She's told the story. He's told the story. So that's why you can't be believing stuff on the internet, because people be lying.
I agree. I don't think that was true. But what is starting to come out is he was with Aaliyah when she was underage. Also Foxy Brown, and apparently Beyonce.
Okay, so let's talk about that, right? So Dr. Renee even talked about, hey, I was a teenager, I was fast, I was grown. Do you think that all the responsibility is on you?
So this is what I look like at 48. I have almost, I got a little cut, got a little bags, but I have been fully developed since I was 14. I lost my virginity at 14. I'm dealing with 23, 22, 24-year-old men at 16. I'm not mentally, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have to know I'm not grown, but I look grown, and I came to have a good time. So that is not to say, but I'm not in Hollywood. I'm not being set up. You know what I'm saying? I got other psychological daddy issues. I got personal stuff that's allowing me to be in this place and think it's okay, right? What's happening in Hollywood is different, because and again, remember, we're not talking about today in all of our wisdom and we're all smart and educated Black people. We're talking about 25 years ago when a lot of men's was doing this. So we're not going to act like it's just happening in Hollywood. In the 1990s, we was running around and we was fast. And we was talking to the dope boys, and we was talking to the dudes with the cars and jumping in the Mustangs. We was like, don't pretend that now that it's 25 years later, you wasn't out there having a good time. You was. And again, I'm not saying it was right. And I'm not saying that the men who were doing it weren't wrong. I'm just saying that is really what the culture was at that moment. And so now we're 25 years later going back to judge. That's not to say that when it happened with Aaliyah and R. Kelly, we were still like, damn.
Right. 30. Yeah. 14.
And I'm not saying that it was right either. I'm just saying that is legit what was happening. Not everybody, not all the people. Some folks' parents was more protective, kept the kids in the house, taught them different things. But a lot of men and women was out here being reckless. That is just what the truth is.
Wait,
something in her. I'm gonna say something.
Other people talk a chance to talk, lady. Hold on. I want to see what you got to say, boo.
Listen, I was just waiting my turn, honey. I said everybody was getting all fired up. I was like, let me Joe.
What year were you born? What year were you born, Athena?
91. I'm a 90s baby.
Okay, so you're only 9, so you was not in the street.
Bless your heart.
Sure.
No, my father would have never had me out on the street, honey. I had a strict Jamaican father. I barely went out in my teens anyway. So, but okay, a lot was said, and I think a lot of us are getting emotional for different reasons, right? Part of it is Jay-Z and Beyonce. They're like hip hop royalty. They represent some level aspect of Black excellence. He's a billionaire. He has accomplished a lot, right? This is very damaging to his reputation. On the other side of things, you know, there's victims and women not being believed when they step forward. And I want to put things in perspective for people, right? If Diddy has been on record or have in his case that he bombed Kid Cudi's car, he has done different things, right? If I am a young girl coming up against men who have the money, influence, and power to erase you off earth, I would not come forward and say anything. And I think, yes, there's an element of a money grab in the situation, right? But there's also an element where someone might feel safe coming forward now because other people have come forward, and if something were to happen, there's eyes on this individual. They couldn't do a move, right? So I think that is another perspective that we need to look when it comes to the situation. Now, I actually read and went through some of the filing of the attorney Tony Busby, and also what Jay-Z's lawyer filed, because what a lot of people don't understand is Jay-Z's lawyer filed anonymously on November 18th, his extortion case. So that's about 3 weeks to a month ago. So he was prepared for this to come out, right? And I think what happened is that Jay-Z is definitely paying chess in the sense of he does not want, if he settled, because initially that when they were filed, they were trying to settle with him so his name can remain anonymous and not having anything. If he does that, then it sets a precedence for other victims to come or other people to come and try to get money, just like what was happening with Diddy. Do I feel, based off what I read, the level of detail and picture in that lawsuit, that nothing happened, that there was no type of nothing, that this woman is pulling everything out of 100% thin air? Absolutely not.
Tell me one thing that you saw that says that she was absolutely there and this absolutely happened.
There were pictures of different things there's pictures in the actual filing, and just the level of detail of her story recount. I'm sure there's other evidence that is there. And what attorney Simone Redwine, and I follow her channel, says that certain things don't even get revealed until they go to mediation arbitration, because when they do these lawsuits, they kind of withhold certain information until certain points. But what I'm saying is, if Tony Busby is coming out with something, I'm not saying that Jay-Z full on went and did something, right? But what I'm saying is, there's some kind of smoke where this fire is.
Amina said you still ain't named one thing.
Just because I was at the party, I can tell you who was there. I can tell you what I can tell you what the ceiling looked like in the bedroom that I was in. Tell me, I was at the party too. I seen everything you saw. Give me some specifics. Did she give some specifics? What was the room that she was in? What color were the sheets? What did the ceiling look like?
Did she have a Monica Lewinsky dress? Does she have DNA?
Listen.
And again, I'm not saying it did or did not happen. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not on her side.
Okay, so I want to pose a question to the panel, because y'all going real hard right now. Is there any reality? So in the case that maybe he did something, what would be the response? Right? Is it because he's a Black man? Is it because he's a billionaire? Is it because he's Jay-Z? What is the hesitation to even do that?
To me,
because when it was Diddy, everybody was like, all right, well, I believe this, that, and the third. But because it's Jay-Z, exactly.
It's either or. So let me say this. That's why I said before we got into this, I have a very different perspective because I was fast when I was younger. So I have it's not victim shaming. I've just been in these positions. So I feel like a lot of time, if you have not lived a fast life and you haven't been to parties and you haven't been being in places you weren't supposed to be in, it's very easy to sit on the from a high level and look down and be like, well, I was there. I was in rooms like this. I was doing the things. So I have a very different view that's not always liked, but I was in places I shouldn't have been in.
Yeah.
I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing. And it's hindsight. So when I speak about these things, I speak about it from both sides. As a grown-up, I know that these things were bad. I know that these things were wrong. It is amazing that I'm alive in my right mind. I ran away when I was 13 years old with these 35-year-old men for 3 days. I didn't get raped. I didn't get beat up. I didn't get trafficked. I didn't get sold. When I tell you, I'm so blessed and so thankful at the way my life turned out because it didn't have to be this way. I was doing all the wrong things when I was younger. And I'm blessed that didn't happen to me because that's not everybody's story. Right. There's some girls who left and they never came back home. But the point that I'm making is I was aware. And it's not to say that if something bad happened to me, it would not have been my fault, or it would have been my fault. It's to say that we do as elders have to do a better job of protecting these young people and talking to them. But we also have to make sure that there's accountability on both parts. Sometimes young people, they know what they're doing. Sometimes they do, not all the time. I forget who said, but you can be a victim and be after money. Like both things can exist in the same space.
Yeah. I said that. Both things can
exist in the same space. So when we're looking at these things and we're talking about them and we're judging them and we're giving our 2 cents, that's all it is 2 cents, because none of us was there. True. None of us knows what really happened. And if she was drugged, I don't even know if she does. The only real people who know what truly happened, honestly, are going to be the people who were in the room, who were either sober or who set it up.
So we're going to talk more about this. Joe, I definitely want to hear back from you. And this is very, I want to hear from you too. You too. But this is interesting because I mean, it's a lot of people with a lot of opinions. And just like you said, Dr. Lene, we don't know because we weren't there. So we could have our opinions. And I love the level of, aggressiveness that we have on this panel today, and passion. I'll say, I love the level of passion, because we all have experienced different things in different ways. So I appreciate, all the different point of views, but we'll talk more about it. And
before we go to commercial, I just want to answer this one question because I know we're going to shift gears. Somebody asked me, why did I run away at 13? I ran away because my homegirl was running away and I didn't want her to run away by herself. I didn't have a bad home life. I didn't want her to be in the streets by herself. She did have a bad home life. And I didn't want her to be in the streets by herself. So I ran away with her. It was me and my homegirl that ran away with these dudes that she knew. And I didn't want to be by herself. And so 2-3 days in, I'm like, this is not the life. And so I pretended like I was calling a friend, and I called my mom. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to say her name. Mia such is here. Yeah, you should come by. And that's how my mom found out where we were and came and picked me up. Picked us, told her parents came, she came and she picked us up. But I didn't want her to be on the streets by herself. So I went with her.
Lord. All right, we'll be right back.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at FlyNubianMoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. FlyNubianMoney.com.
Woo! Y'all, there's so much passion. And everybody has so many, different experiences and different points of views. I am curious. And I think people in the comments said, I want to hear what the brother got to say, because he's been mighty quiet. And it's just, I think it's just the passion that's coming out from everybody. But Joe, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is this, all this back and forth is really just opinions, right? Like, we don't know. And you cannot condemn or convict somebody on your opinion. I don't think you can. And I'm talking from a perspective of somebody who spent 5 years fighting these type of allegations and charges in court. Somebody who spent over $500,000, somebody who had to deal with 2 trials trying to fight these type of allegations. who sat and watched a jury selection and plastering Bill Cosby all over the screen just to say, oh, if this guy can do it, anybody can do it. Who had to sit through that twice. Listen, you don't like hip hop culture and where it go. I understand. I'm with that. I don't disagree with that. But you can't convict anybody on that. If that's the case, let's go convict Tom Cruise. I saw him killing people in one movie. He might be a murderer. Let's go convict Denzel for all the stuff he did in Training Day. I mean, it is what it is. It's art. And art has power, and there's some accountability for what it has done to the culture. But once again, you cannot take away somebody's life for your opinion. Okay, there has to be proof. And I understand, I'm somebody who works with victims too, and who have talked to people who have survived sexual assault. And even still, with my experience, knowing I had to go through what I go through, I still have feelings and empathy for those victims. But I also have empathy for myself, and I know what it's like to sit there and be accused of something you didn't do. And how hard it is to recover your life after you've been accused of it. I'm still recovering. Okay. And until you can say that 100% of these victims are telling the truth, then you have to take into account that just this one might not be. So I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. I don't know if Jay-Z's telling the truth or not. And honestly, it's not my place to know. But I don't believe that you can convict somebody from your opinion. I think you need more evidence than just your word of saying this happened. And I don't know if I would have said that before going through what I went through, but I'm definitely saying it now. It's not right.
Rape, sexual assault is a jacket that you don't want to put on nobody. Dr. Alicia, what does that do for Jay-Z's legacy?
Jay-Z's legacy is in trouble. And it seems like it's not just going to be Jay-Z. It's going to be a lot of people's legacy that they've built up and been propped up and worked so hard, because lately he's done some really wonderful things. He's done some great things. But does that cover up what may have happened in the past? They're saying they have pictures and videos and all this evidence that the lawyers are saying that they have. And so therefore they feel like they can now come forward with it. So maybe in the past when this happened, it was this person's word against another person. And maybe the victim said, you know what, it's my word against his. I'm not even going to try to even pursue this because there's not enough evidence. I'm going to just let it go. But now that there is information now that wasn't previously available to anybody, and now they're saying, now that we have this information, I can now tell you what I've been saying for years now. I can now feel more empowered to be able to use my voice and speak up about what happened. And to, now that I have this information, I can make sure that the person who did this to me, justice is done. So, it's too bad for anybody to have to go through something and there's not enough evidence to convict them, and they have to go and defend themselves. However, that 13-year-old apparently, to what information that they have, was trafficked, was given a drug where she couldn't even leave when she wanted to. Allegedly, of course, but was given this drug. They have evidence of this. He's there. The lawyer mentioned
that. What's the evidence they got 25 years later? What evidence they got? It's still in her system?
They said there were some reports. I don't know, because perhaps this particular victim actually did go and get blood drawn and got a rape kit done. Most rape kits are never used in court. I worked at a emergency room, and I worked with women who were sexually assaulted and came to the hospital. And then the first thing they do is call the social worker. I'm also a medical social worker. So I was there. I'm usually there in the room with women, and girls, when this happens to them. And I know they collect a lot of information right there on the spot. So maybe there is some information in the information that was collected back then. You can have those kits around for a while. So we don't know. But this is what he's saying. He's saying that the lawyer is saying, I have crossed all the T's and dotted all my I's. I'm coming out here because I have this information. Time will tell to see what happens of this. But if they put something in if they put something in your drink without you knowing it, no matter how old you are or whether you should have been there or not, I mean, that's beside the point. The thing is that you can't consent to anything. And they said that the girl, another thing I read is that she signed an NDA. I mean, she's 13 years old. You can't sign an NDA when you're 13. You know, they didn't verify her age or, you know, license. They didn't verify. Usually they would like, let me see your driver's license. Let me look. I don't know if it was a fake ID or what, but the thing is that being drugged, no one is saying I'm signing away my rights to be drugged against my will. Like no one is saying that. So, and then there's a lot of contradictions, you know, with Jay-Z. I just got to say it. You know, I really like what he's doing recently. I can get on board with that, but there's some contradictions. And we got the Super Bowl coming up. He sided with, you know, Drake accused. No, what's the beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar? Kendrick Lamar is accusing Drake of sexual assault, you know, and of being a pedophile. Didn't he call him something pedophile? I mean, he's accusing him in his music lyrics. And then, you know, Jay-Z is like, come on to the Super Bowl and perform. That doesn't mean anything. The thing is that if you are, but think about it this way. If you are someone who's saying, I want to make sure that people aren't falsely accused, and you're being falsely accused. According to Jay-Z, I'm being falsely accused of something. Why would you promote somebody who's falsely accusing another person? Come on, you know, that's a contradiction to me.
I don't got nothing to do with the other thing, but we're going to talk about it when we come back.
It's bigger than just this one thing.
Commercial, Dr. Alicia. We'll be right back.
We're claiming it. 2025 is your year for home ownership, and we are going to get you to that goal. Who's we? Fly Nubian Money Club and me, Laura Lala Key, international real estate agent, and we have a wonderful session for you about how to get you started on the path to home ownership. We'll cover the steps. We'll answer a lot of the questions that most people have, because when you are educated about this process, it makes it more fun and a little easier than if you step into it without knowing anything. I can't wait to spend some time with you to get your juices flowing and to get the excitement flowing, because 2025 is your year. Make sure that you come to this class and you invite someone else, because it really is important to own your own piece of land. I look forward to seeing you. Bye.
Dr. Alicia, you make it
connect about legacy.
Hold on. I want to go to you, Dr. Lene.
She talked about legacy, and I need fact checkers, because I'm going off of passion. I looked it up, but I'm not specifically sure. Joe, you might be able to help me on this. So legacy, and we're talking about sexual abuse only. That's all I'm going to talk about. Kobe Bryant had a sexual abuse case, and I don't feel like his legacy was messed up because of his sexual abuse case, which I believe, this is the fact check, was dismissed. He was not found guilty in that sexual abuse case, was he, Joe? Does anybody know? Okay, boom. So when you start talking about lawyers won't take them to court if it's not, they will take you. If you are a high profile person with a big name, they will take you whether they think they crossed their T's and dotted their I's. Now the next Tupac acquitted? Was he found guilty? What happened with Tupac?
He was found guilty.
Okay, so he was found. So I did look that one up because I wanted to make sure, because I didn't want to misspeak. So they said he was acquitted of the 3 sexual assault / rape charges. He was acquitted of those, but the 2 charges on sexual abuse were held. So the point is, yes, if you are a high profile person, whether it's right or wrong, good or bad, they will still go after you, because the chances are you're going to pay. I don't want to get my name dragged. I will pay. Chances are. So again, I'm not on either person's side.
What happened with Tupac was his boys was running a train on a girl. She went after him. And so that type of thing happens all the time. When you have the person who's prominent, where they know it's a money grab, where they know that they can get something. He come out the bathroom, his boys is running a train on a girl, and now I'm getting convicted. Now I got to do 2 years in the pen for rape. And this type of thing happens all the time. And that's the thing. So we can speak passionately And Dr. Alicia, I love it because all the connections you are saying don't even add up. They're not even connected, Dr. Alicia. You talk about Drake.
How would you feel? How would you feel if someone wrote a song about Constance Carter being a child molester and it got the number one song?
Should he not? Yeah, but
I would feel awful.
So should he?
He was never convicted of that.
So he shouldn't have the Super Bowl halftime show because he said that Drake is a pedophile. Did he need to sue Drake for saying he's a pedophile? He ain't suing Drake for that.
Well, he's trying. I think he's trying to get out of his contract. I don't know.
Yeah, but he ain't suing for that. So if that wasn't true, then he will be going after him for that. So just because, I mean, all's fair in beef and hip hop. You know, one thing don't have to do with the other. I love it how, you know, you brought it all, you're bringing it all together, but I don't think that they're connected.
And it would be a defamation lawsuit, a lawsuit of defamation. This person said something about me that is not right. It is not true. And I can prove it. Where's the defamation lawsuit? The other thing is what we're talking about is 25 years ago. What Kendrick is talking about with Drake happened in the last 3 to 5. So we're talking about pattern versus you just did this, fool. And again, all of this is allegedly because we don't know. But we don't know none of this stuff. We're literally just sitting around giving our opinion on stuff.
We're just giving our opinion. And you think about like even Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was in a hotel. He told his girl, "Come down and let's kick it." At 2:00 in the morning, she went down to his hotel room. They kicked it. They had sex, and now he's in the pen for a couple of years for rape. You come to his room at 2:00 in the morning. You already know what it is. But again, they go after these men who they believe have this prominence and this influence, and they can get a payday. And this may be that. I mean, again, these are all opinions, but what does that say about, you know, even the current state of hip hop culture, Athena? Where do you think this is going? How do you think this is going to play out in the future? How do you think people are going to start operating?
I think, honestly, just as you're asking me this question, this is the remnants of the Me Too movement and Me Too culture and this push for accountability in these certain spaces and I think the hip hop industry is feeling the effects of it now in this current state with Diddy, with Drake being accused of being a pedophile on raps, with Jay-Z getting this lawsuit filed. Now, this actual lawsuit that has been filed, there are videos and tapes support in that named lawsuit. Now, that is for evidence and the court
when she was recording shit when she was 13.
That's what it listed in the lawsuit. Now, I didn't see the video or the tape, but that they're coming forward saying that they have videos and tape. And then also that if there is something like a kit, right? So a kit wasn't, or hospital records, right? It has not been included in the lawsuit, but a kit or hospital record, if it does exist, certain strategies that lawyers use is to hold back evidences like that to use later in mediation or during litigation, and it would not necessarily appear in the initial filing, which this is an initial filing. I think also with Jay-Z, with his extortion lawsuit, he's being smart in the sense of trying to protect himself and his legacy, but also they're calling to name Jane Doe, to name her so they can establish whether or not she is a credible witness or not.
That's what they need to.
Yes. So what I'm saying is there is something, because there's tapes and there's videos. Now, I don't know what that is specifically, but it's enough to file a lawsuit. Now, two things can be true. This woman can be a liar and be a money grabber, or she could be telling the truth and still trying to grab some money, right? But I think as far as Jay-Z and his situation, he's doing the best he can to protect himself. Now, the final thing I will say that is everyone has a past, right? Men have past, right? Jay-Z is living a totally different life than the single bachelor he was at that time, correct? He has been spotted, seen with, associated with underage girls or young women, even when he met Beyonce. So we can't put like this is so far of a stretch, right? We have to use some kind of scrutiny. So he has to use some kind of scrutiny and see he could possibly have some kind of involvement, whether it's full on rape, essay, whatever. We have to at least see that there's something to this. What I will hope, though, is that moving forward, if you are just being on a general human being basis, but especially a high profile man or a man that has a reputation or something to lose, what happens in the past will always come forward and be a part of your life. You cannot erase that, right? You have to take full accountability. Even if you are in a situation like Diddy was really the main one or could be the main one, but you're in his peripheral. You have to be accountable about the type of people you choose to hang around, associate with, because their influence will rub off on you, right? And I think a lot of people, those chickens are coming to roost with Diddy. So I think this can be a lesson of the amount of accountability, especially in men and especially Black men in this post-Me Too world, because they're going to come at you harder than Harvey Weinstein and other people, that you really need to get some kind of control over yourself, your person, the type of people you associate with it, and practice sexual discipline and respect. And I think that is something that needs to happen within the hip hop culture, but in the culture in general.
What's your final thoughts, Athena?
My final thoughts is this. Let's focus on what is important to us and what we can control, which is our financial futures. Because clearly, look at Jay-Z. He has amassed enough financial wealth to protect himself and afford the legal arm chest that he's using to help protect himself and his legacy. If you are interested in learning to launch a business with ease, but using the power of AI, you can do so and check out my latest course, the AI Business Launch. Especially when you come for 2025, you're going to be responsible for your own reparations. So learn how to take your idea to income and create a business with ease with that course, and also get your financial life together and become the goddess you are meant to be for my ladies with the Goddess Guide to Money. My name is Athena. Everything you want to know about me, my social media, what I'm doing, where I'm at, you can find at elevatewithathena.com.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate you. What about you, Joe? Final thoughts.
First, I want everybody to come back tonight to Vulnerability is the New Sexy. We're going to keep talking about this, but we're not going to litigate it because we don't know. We're going to talk about what these type of allegations, what the effect is on brothers in general. You know what I mean? So me personally, you heard a little bit about, what I went through and what I experienced. And I want everybody to understand this, that, you cannot convict people or condemn people based on your opinion. I'm someone, like I said, who stands with victims in this way. And I do believe that, you should listen to a woman and possibly believe all proof. Because, we're talking about taking somebody's life away and their livelihood. And I just don't think you can do that on opinions and like little loose information. So and these type of things, the recovery for it is beyond financial. There's a mental recovery. There's a mental toll that it takes on you. And I want you brothers to know one thing too. You are not your past. So, whatever you were and whoever you used to be, whoever you hung around, you don't let people, pigeonhole you in that and stick your foot in it like a block of cement. You're not your past. You can recover from anything. I do believe that there should be consequences for people who sexually assault people. I'm an advocate for that. There should be consequences. But for all you brothers that are like, you listening to this right now and feeling like, man, who I used to be, people are holding me to that, and you're not your past, bro. So you can find me, Joe Corley, on all social medias, and real you, the letter U, consulting.com, if you're looking for some therapy.
Dr. Alicia.
I have been talking about this for quite some time, that hip hop culture has been misogynistic, pretty hostile toward Black women. Hip hop culture has promoted violence. Hip hop culture has promoted the use of drugs and alcohol in a way that is unhealthy. Hip hop culture has promoted the sexualization of Black men and women. And I think the music industry and hip hop culture is in crisis, rightfully so. I would love for us to get back to more empowerment in our music, in our culture, in the music videos, all aspects of hip hop culture. I would love for us to get back in control and promote healthy relationships of accountability, and some healing needs to happen. I am Dr. Alicia with Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Please follow me on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Miss Dr. Lene.
What's good? Good people. So my closing statements are going to be, I don't think it has anything to do with the music. I think it has everything to do with the home. I think it has everything to do with men as fathers showing up for their daughters, if we're talking about it from the young woman's perspective, and women as mothers showing up for their sons, if we're talking about it from the son perspective. At the end of the day, everything that we're talking about has to do with how people are raised, right? As a young woman, as a young man, showing up to these types of spaces and being taken advantage of, as a young man or a young woman that grows up and watches and lets something like this happen while you're in the presence of it. I think we have to get back to communicating, showing love, inputting positive energy and brilliance, and operating as a village and showing love and support by way of the things that we put into our children at home. The music is going to music. The TV is going to TV. Bad messaging is going to bad message. The food, all the bad things are going to happen. We cannot dictate those things. What we can dictate and what we do have control over is what happens in our home. The words that come out of our mouth, the things that we say to our children, how we show up for our children, how we love them. That is what we have control over, so that when our children go out into the world and they're in environments and situations, they know right from wrong, what they should do, what they shouldn't do. They're not operating from self-doubt. They're not operating from low self-esteem. They aren't operating with daddy issues or mommy issues. They can show up in the world and make good choices and decisions. Mind you, a lot of what we're talking about is from 20, 25 years ago. There's nothing we can do about that now. But today we can. Today we can make sure that our children don't have the same experiences that we had. We can make sure that our grandchildren don't have those same experiences that we had. We get to operate in our brilliance today that we didn't get to do 20, 25 years ago because we didn't even know what it was that we had it. And so that is what I believe you guys with today. I have been able to turn my pain into power. I was a manipulator back then, and I've transferred that into being a strategist. I've always had the power of looking at things and figuring out, how do I get them? I want to be successful. I want to change my life. I don't want this to be the end of my story. And I've been able to do that. I've been able to level up through my brilliance. And that's what I do today. I am a brilliant business coach and monetization strategist. Anything that you want to know about me, who I am, how I operate, if you want to read my dissertation, if you want to work with me, if you want help with your business, all of my links, all of my social media, my email, everything you can find at thebrilliantstrategist.com. I'm Dr. Lene Javette, and I will turn it back over to Constance.
Thank you. You know, let me tell you why I love Fly Nubian Money. Is because we have some really strong and intelligent people that come on here and talk about things I think that matter to Black people. And everyone here has a strong point. Everyone here spoke with so much vigor and so much passion. And that's what I love about this. I love the fact that we can dialogue and have intellectually stimulating conversations and be able to just leave it all on the table. I love that we don't all think the same. I love that we're not monolithic. I love that about us. I love that we can just sit here and pontificate ad nauseum about somebody else's business. I think at the end of the day, we don't know. It's really innocent until proven guilty, right? But I think white supremacy, I'll go back to that all the time, has a lot to do with this, because at the end of the day, these are just Black men playing a white man's game. And I believe that they are pawns. Yes, it's true. Hip hop has, I think, been a crux that has helped destroy our community, but they're just the small pawns. You will never see a Jewish person with money promoting promoting genocide in the Jewish community, the way they encourage Black people to do. I believe that there is a witch hunt. Think about Michael Jackson. Think about all those little white boys that said Michael Jackson molested them, and then they came out after he was dead and said, my dad told me to do it because it was a money grab. Think about what happened with Mike Tyson. Yeah, there are some bad apples. Yeah, R. Kelly did some shit that he shouldn't have did, but also we know that them kids' parents brought them over there to help them do some shit to these kids. They were complicit. I believe that Diddy is guilty, but I think that there is a witch hunt against Black men, and I think that we should be very careful before we convict. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that. Is I just think that we just need to give grace. We should consider innocence until proven guilty, especially when it comes to our people. Nobody else is giving us the benefit of the doubt. It's up to us to give each other the benefit of the doubt because nobody else is going to do it. Where can you find me? Everywhere. I am Constance Carter. Now listen, we love to see you every single day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, same time, same bat channel. If you want to get notified before we come live, please text the word Queens to 87948, QUEENS to 87948. And if you want to learn how to grow your money and not blow your money, go to FlyNubianMoney.com. And guess what? They have the Fly Nubian Money Club. I forgot what it's called, but it's getting ready to happen. And so if you want to be a part of that, I believe that you go to FlyNubianMoney.com. Also, we are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you might be able to listen to us. So go to Spotify and search for Fly Nubian Money. Again, I love the fact that we can have these intellectually stimulating conversations. And I love the fact that you could talk back to us and talk Black to us about things that matter. I just ask that you would keep everything in perspective. And I ask that you would just give Black people the benefit of the doubt. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Because guess what? I love us. I really, really, really do. And if ain't nobody else gonna love us the way we love ourselves. And so we got to stop being so quick to jump on the bandwagon to destroy our own people. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same bat channel. I appreciate all the beautiful people here. We had a lot of engagement, and thank you all for being with us today. Take care and God bless. Peace.